and then there were other things that happened, you know?
Yeah, no, overall, I would say the convention was good. I mean, obviously, like, Paul Bettany was very limited. I thought it was kind of wild.
He did his best.
Yeah, he got like 4 MCU questions in a row, and he was just like, I can't answer that. You know, and I could tell, it's a struggle, because these people are fans, and they want to talk about this stuff, and it's like, I can't talk about it. There's a strike.
We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines.
The union's affected members will be prohibited from all on-camera work, including acting, singing, dancing, and stunts, as well as off-camera work like voice acting and narration. Background work and stand-in work is also barred, with negotiation for future services and auditions, rehearsals, and fittings. All promotional activity like interviews, award shows, podcasts, and red carpets will not be allowed by any union members. And actors will not be allowed to promote any projects for work, including tours, festivals, premieres, panels, and even social media.
We're at the Cincinnati Comic Expo 2023. It's going to be a different expo than normal because, we got the strike going on. We have to see how things play out. I don't know what we're going to encounter with the strike. And I think, when it comes to the actors and the roles they want to talk about, I think it's kind of reasonable to leave it up to them what they want to talk about, because they're going to be with fans. And yeah, so we'll have to see. I don't know how much I'll be able to record. But yeah, I just want to have a good time. And I support the strike, and I want everything to work out perfectly. Ashleen, you're here. Would you like to say something?
I also support the strike and want things to work out perfectly.
Yes. Pay people what they're worth. Absolutely. But yeah, let's check this out. We got Tara Strong.
It's one of those.
Yes. And then Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
And then we'll check out the floor. It's Friday, so it'll be a quieter day. And then tomorrow we'll go through hell. But yes, this will be fun. So Tara Strong canceled, so we're waiting in line to see Brent Spiner, and he is here today. We've already saw him downstairs, so yeah, we will get a chance to talk to him, however briefly, and he will give us a show.
Yeah, because of this strike that's going on, I'm not supposed to even mention that I was on a television show or a movie or anything else in show business ever. I can talk about my theater background, I believe, and I can talk about my personal life, which I certainly won't. And we can talk about you if you want. Current events I can talk about, except for the strike. What else should we talk about? I don't know if this is really show business, but it sort of is. And I think I'm allowed to say this, because I can mention people's names. I don't think that's illegal. But I have this, Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon, you know that whole thing? Yeah. I think I could do it in 4, anybody. Anybody who's ever been in show business, I can do it in 4. So, anybody, name somebody.
Tippi Hedren.
Tippi Hedren, who said that? Tippi Hedren and I? No, give me a minute. I'll think of Tippi Hedren. Let me think here. I once had a bird. Anyway, Tippi Hedren. Okay, so that gives me, Tippi Hedren gives me Dakota Johnson, if I want, who's her granddaughter, right? Or Melanie Hedren. Melanie Griffith. Yeah, so Melanie Griffith. That's got to be the show. Melanie Griffith to somebody. Melanie Griffith to... Melanie Griffith to Jack Black. That's good. What did they do together? What did they do together? You don't know?
Making stuff
All
up.
right, forget Melanie. Tippi Hedren. I don't think Kevin Bacon knows her either, by the way. Jack Black. I once met Jack Black. That's 1 degree of separation. I met him at a restaurant, and big Star Trek fan, Jack Black, and I'm a big fan of his. And he was with Tippi Hedren. Oh, I was in Austin at a convention a couple weeks ago, or 2-3 weeks ago, and I met Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson. And I said, the Mike Tyson, yeah. And I said, I heard he was there, and I said, oh, I got to meet him. And so they took us in and introduced us to Mike, and I have a picture. I wish you could see it, but I have my arm around Mike, and I'm bigger than him. I really am. It's crazy. And I thought, I could take him. and I'm probably kidding myself, because as bigger guys than me thought the same thing. But I asked him, probably shouldn't have asked him. I said, Mike, what does a human ear taste like? No, I didn't do that. But I told LeVar I was going to do that. LeVar said, I will give you $1,000. But those are my favorite moments, are always at meeting people, because I really feel that, I wrote this book, I don't know if you've heard of it, you probably haven't, called Fan Fiction. How many have it? You have? See, look at all of these, yeah. Well, I wrote a book last year called Fan Fiction, and I think that everyone I've ever met in show business is a fan. So we can all understand fandom in our bones, because we're all fans too, as you just expressed about meeting people. To me, that's been the greatest experience of my career, is the people I've gotten to meet and work with.
Who would be the person you would most want to meet then that you haven't been able to?
God, I just thought of this the other night. If somebody asked me that question, who would I say? Who was I thinking?
In 2019,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
came here,
I did.
and my grandson at that time was 5 years old.
He's not your grandson anymore?
No, he's still my grandson,
Oh, okay.
but he's not 5.
He's not
And you tried so hard to get this 5-year-old to give you a fist bump, and he would not do it.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. And to this day, you are referred to in our home as fist bump guy.
You know what? In a lot of homes, by the way.
I now have a 9-year-old grandson.
Is that you?
That was him. He was shorter.
What's your name? Evan. Can you give me a fist bump?
Can you give him a fist bump?
No way. That's me and my buddy Evan. Thank you, Evan.
All right, we are leaving Friday. I already said Tara Strong canceled. We saw Brent Spiner. He was great. He put on a good little show. He was pretty hardcore about SAG rules. Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty nice.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
I must say.
Yeah, so it was nice to see. Like, you might notice there was there's no recording of the panels, so that'll make things interesting. I did get an audio recording, but we'll see. There might be little clips, but yeah. For the most part, I'm not going to record anything in the panels. You might get little hints here or there. But yeah, the Brent Spiner, great show. He's following SAG rules. Like, it was tough to tell with him because I could tell like his social media is run by a manager because it went dark when the strike started. But yeah, no, he's pretty much following SAG rules. He's,
Yes.
Star Trek was brought up a couple times and it was kind of like, But yeah, no, it was a good first day. Excited to see tomorrow because Saturday is always the swarm. Saturday is going to be insane. And then tomorrow we're going to have Stephen Amell to check out, Paul Bettany, Jim Lee. But yeah, we'll definitely have people to check out.
There definitely will be people there.
Yes, there will be people there. Yes.
There will be people.
Yes.
Far too many, in fact.
Yes, it will be packed. But we will check it out. It'll be fun. Yes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, we're about ready to go to day 2. We decided to dress up. So I decided to bring my Doctor Who costume out of retirement because last time I wore this, I got lots of people who want to take a picture of me, and I was thinking, hey, if they got good costumes, I could probably get an interview with them. That'd probably be good footage for the video we're putting together here. So clever. And then Ashleen is going to go as Madoka Magica, clearly. She is, what? Who are you going as?
Benjamin Sisko.
Nailing it. She's nailing it. How are you doing, Ashleen?
I'm doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright outside.
It is very bright outside. But, yeah, no, I saw, like, yesterday, like, we saw Brent Spiner was more, like, there's obviously stuff he doesn't want to talk about with the strike going on. And I think that's good. I mean, he's following strike rules, which is very good. I did hear, like, a rumor that, like, they were allowing actors to talk about past stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's not true, based on what Brent Spiner was saying. Because there was a moment where a kid asked him about Star Trek, and he was just like, I can't. So I really think, like, he's trying to follow the rules, and that's important. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. It's a different convention than normal. Obviously, they can't talk about past stuff. I was looking up the rules. Like, they can't have headshots from struck work, but like if you bring in something, they can sign that. So that's fine. But yeah, it's a different convention. I'm interested to see how the rest of this plays out. We're seeing Stephen Amell today. Stephen Amell had a spotty history. Do you know his history?
I mean, you told me he was doing some pretty intense scabbing.
Yeah, so like the biggest thing he was doing, like he was going to conventions and he was talking about his struck work pretty flamboyantly.
And the ongoing strike that is happening.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm insulated in Hollywood because that's where I live. I literally live in Hollywood. Like all the stereotypes that exist. So I feel like a lot of people in this room aren't aware of the strike. I support my union, I do, and I stand with them. I do not support striking. I don't. I think that it is a reductive negotiating tactic. And I find the entire thing incredibly frustrating. And I think that the thinking as it pertains to shows like the show that I'm on that premiered last night, I think that is... Woo! I think that it is, I think it's myopic. And I stand with my union.
And well, the biggest thing he was doing was he was talking about stuff that just came out and promoting that. And then he was also like doing like Instagram videos.
Hey everybody, good morning. Good morning from the Sunset Strip. Obviously this is a very, very strange and peculiar time that we are all living in within our industry. But I just want to say that as an actor, it means a great deal to me when I work really hard on something. When I work really, really hard on something, it doesn't really ever feel real. It doesn't feel validated. It doesn't feel as though you put a period on the sentence until you're able to share it with the world. So I'm very happy for today. I'm very thankful. I have a lot of gratitude. And yeah, it's a strange time that we're existing in at the moment, but I'm allowed to be proud of work. I'm allowed to be very proud of work.
There's like he was doing Instagram videos where he was just talking about, oh, it's a lovely day, and in the background was a billboard for his new show, and he was always making sure to keep it in frame and kind of like, hey, it's a lovely day. It's obvious what he's doing, and he's think he's being clever, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
That being said, after all this went like pretty public and viral, like it seems like a lot of the stuff you've seen about him doing that seems to have stopped. And then there's been a picture of him that's come out of him on the picket line. So we will have to see. We'll have to see what he's like there. I'm either guessing he's going to scab hard, or he will be very well behaved. He might be the most well behaved person there. But
he's got the most to clean up.
Yes. I see it going either one or the other way. So that'll be interesting. Who else are we seeing? We're seeing Jim Lee. Do you know who Jim Lee is?
I probably do.
He's probably one of the most famous comic book artists alive right now.
Oh, right, yeah, that Jim Lee.
Yeah, he's pretty much a legend at this point. I think he's the president of DC Comics right now.
Ooh.
But like I remember in the 90s, like that's when like his stuff he's most famous for. He has X-Men #1. I need to make sure to pack that because I want to see if he'll sign it. I already have Chris Claremont, the writer, signed that one, so I want to see if he'll sign it because that'd be awesome. But yeah, he will be. He's gonna be there, and he will have a panel, and he's not striking at all, so he can talk about whatever comes up. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And then who do we have after that? Paul Bettany. We're gonna cover Paul Bettany. He is very much striking. I notice what's different from his stuff from the other stuff is that, like, if you look at his picture for Cincinnati Comic Expo, it actually has none of his work behind it. It's literally just a face shot of him, which makes me think he's probably following SAG rules very strictly. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's pretty stand up if they're following SAG rules pretty strictly. It tells me they're standing with the union, and that's good. They're standing. Essentially, when they do that, it means they're standing up for the people who are like at the bottom, because like these guys are doing okay. But like, there's people at the bottom of SAG that really need help, and when they follow the strike rules, it means they are helping the people on the bottom, and that's stand up. About time for us to drive there. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Unfortunately, because of the strike, even though I'm doing it as me, I don't really see a scenario where people wouldn't think that I was trying to promote heels. So we shelved that idea. Because we wrapped in November of 2019, and I was supposed to, I was gearing up and getting ready to go to work on Heels, which was supposed to begin production mid-April of 2020. You're an actor because I'm an actor because I enjoy acting, but it's impossible for me to enjoy it until people see it, right? Until people see it, it's not real, you know? We filmed a second Code 8 movie that's going to be coming out on Netflix. It was supposed to come out in mid-October. They're holding it because of the strike. And I know it's good. I'm really, really happy with it. But until you guys see it, it doesn't mean anything. And again, we're going to do our best to dance around some of the not some of, the rules that my union has laid out about things that I can or can't speak about. I will do my best. I can't answer your question. Sorry. My wife majored in nutrition. I lucked out. And it took me a while. I had this negative connotation in my head with like her cooking, right? When I'm like out working and she would always be like, hey, you're coming home from set, you're coming home a little bit early, do you want me to make something? No, don't worry about it, I'll get something from craft service or whatever. And finally she was like, Steven, let me cook for you, please. She loves cooking, it's very meditative for her. She loves going to the grocery store and like wandering around. I never go because I hated going to the grocery store as a kid so much. But yeah, she makes really, really excellent meals with really, really healthy ingredients. It's like a gluten, dairy-free chicken parm. Yeah, I know, it's nutrition is like, you think about this, like, think about the fact that it's literally fuel for your body. And I'm not saying that you can't go and enjoy junk food every once in a while, but it is junk, right? It really is. And I think that everyone should really pay attention to their bodies. And if you eat something and it's messing up your stomach, like think about what it's doing to everything else. So, you're welcome.
Do you have a favorite storyline and also crossovers? Era?
Now we're like diving into, I gotta be a little bit careful, so I'll just say body swap. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Someone asked me today, they're at the table, they're like, who do you think would win in a fight, you or David? You out of your mind? Have you seen him? The guy beat me with his wrist. Do you get that often? Can you beat this person? Yeah, 100%. Apparently people want to see me embroiled in Mortal Kombat. I've never been in a fight in my life. I remember I was actually training just in general. I was at my gym. This is a while ago. And the gym that I go to, you work out for like an hour, and then if you want, you can go and do boxing and like sort of MMA style work as kind of like a burnout at the end of the workout, which is a lot. And anyhow, the gym, one of the founders of the gym is Randy Couture. And Randy Couture was there, and he was the guy that was taking us through sparring. And it was me and my wife, right? So we're just like practicing and stuff like that. And Randy comes in and is like, you gotta actually throw the punch. You can't be afraid to hit him. And he had some gloves on. He came in, and he's like, you can't be afraid to hit him. He caught me right here. He's like, you're just getting hit in the head. It's no big deal. And I was like, pretty, ow. I've never been hit in my head my entire life.
Are there any, I mean, just not characters, but like storylines that you really enjoy doing?
Well, I think I didn't really have a lot of input into the stories until probably when I started on X-Men, and I built up the courage to call Chris Claremont. There was no benefit that, like, all you Gen Zers, millennials, alphas, I don't know, whatever, the kids that are too young, you guys can just text each other right now, and it's very comfortable. I think text, it's a very nice way of communicating. You don't have to really think about the flow of the conversation. Although, I take that back. Sometimes you're a text message and you're like, do I reply right away, or do I give it like 5 minutes? I don't want to make it seem like I'm too anxious, like that I'm not doing anything else. I'm a busy person. I'm going to wait 10 minutes to respond, right? But when you call someone that you don't know, that you look up to, that was like the creator of so much content that you loved as a kid, you're on the spot. Like you gotta say something interesting. What can you contribute to the conversation? To a guy that's been writing the X-Men for like 10 plus years or whatever, and really kind of created the modern X-Men with Len Wein, of course. So that was a nerve-wracking call, but he was super kind, and he was like, well, what do you want to draw in this issue? Like, what do you want to draw? I'm like, Captain America. I know he's not a mutant, but I love Captain America. And he's like, okay. And then I like Black Widow. I know she's not a mutant either. It was almost like those cooking reality shows. Here's some chili chocolate and mustard. Make it into chili. You know. Skyline, it's a Skyline joke. Anyway, so I don't understand why those ingredients are in that dish. But anyway, I did try it, and I went to Wendy's and I scraped the chili off. The hot dog was great, and I put the Wendy's chili on it. And so I know that's blasphemy. I'm sorry. Right? That's horrible. Right? It's horrible. What, like the chef, poor chef. Anyway, so I gave him those ingredients, and he came up with. And I said, like, I'm a really big fan of World War II, not all destruction and all that, but just the history of it all. And he created this Casablanca type story done in one issue, which I think still stands in my mind as like the best single issue I've done. Drawing, obviously working with Chris. Although, you know what? I work at DC, so Batman Hush.
Yeah.
In a lot of conversations I've had with a lot of people, apparently I seem to be in a minority. I really love the new 52.
You're not a minority, man. Don't let the internet take that. New 52, 2011, what are we, 2010? Give it 20 more years. In 20 more years, people will be raving about, oh my God, the new 52 was the dope, whatever they're going to call it in the future. Because people love the comics in the 90s, and I'll tell you, I was embarrassed by a lot of stuff that we were doing then. They were not good comics, in my opinion, right? They were very art-driven. There were some really great comics, like The Authority and So Much that Warren Ellis, those guys did. But the power of nostalgia is super important in how we critically look at work. And sometimes things don't stand the test of time. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, in 20 years, there are going to be a lot of people that were like 12 or 15 and New 52 was their gateway into DC. That's their fondest memory of DC Comics. So just give it some years, you're going to be like, I told you so. You and I will be there reveling in it all. No, but yeah, it's controversial for sure. Yes.
I love film. I love cameras. I recently went back on the stage. It was the first time in 25 years, and I thought, well, fuck me, this is how it works. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, it's, yeah. So but I love cameras. I love telling stories with cameras, and I love my one experience directing. I love film.
Yeah. So going off of that too, in front of or behind the camera?
Well, both. I mean, I have to say, when I made my movie, I had a pass in it, and I fired myself. And I had a pass in it to fool the financiers into giving me more money, and then the moment we started shooting, I fired myself, which seemed to be a really smart idea.
Yeah.
So I guess I wanted to ask you about, like, what do you do, like, personally? Like, what is your method to, like, get in character for a role, to, like, you know, learn more about that? Obviously, you can't give me any examples, but, you know, in general.
Yeah, I can talk to you about that. It's weird. For me, I operate very differently on different roles. Some roles demand more research, some are closer to me. Usually what I try to do is find how we are the same and how we are different, and really work on the things that are different and really lean into the things that are similar, characteristics-wise. I also, I'm sure everybody's heard, you know, actors work and they think about what their character wants, right? You heard that? Objectives. Well, so you want something in the scene. I also work on what my character is frightened of. What is the thing that they are frightened of losing or failing at, or and I find that really useful. But honestly, it changes from job to job. Thank you for your question.
wanted to say that you are the first Marvel actor who I have met. I'm really excited about that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I wanted to ask, did you know that you would be cast as the live-action Vision when you were voice acting for Jarvis?
Not really allowed to talk about that stuff, but the answer, just because of SAG rules, but the answer really is no, I had no idea. Thank you.
Once you learned you were playing Vision, what's some comic story arcs you read to kind of understand the character?
Again, I can't really discuss that stuff because I'll be breaking union rules, and if I do that, I won't be able to act again in a movie, which would make me sad.
So, did you ever think the MCU would become popular when you first started?
I knew nothing about it. I grew up in England and didn't really grow up reading comics. We had a comic called The Eagle, and there was a character called Damn Dare in it, and that was all I really knew. So I had no intuition about any of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Don.
And let's try to stay as far away from like just MCU specific questions as possible. Sorry, I am the bad guy here, not Mr. Bad.
Thank you very much.
I do have one question, and it is a little bit more MCU related.
Yeah, those probably can't ask it then.
Then through all of your work, if there was only one actor or actress that you could collaborate with again, who would it be through all of your work?
Well, I'm married to Jennifer Connelly.
Great answer.
Even if it weren't true, I would have to say Jennifer Connelly. So my answer to you is I would love to work with Jennifer Connelly. Now that probably now sounds like I don't mean it, but I actually do mean it. She's a great actress, great collaborator, and but incredibly irritating. As you can imagine, she would wake me up, and I was directing a movie which is really so much harder work than acting. It's exhausting, and I was getting so little sleep, and she would, I was sleeping with the leading actress. You know what I mean? I mean, we've been married for 15 years or whatever, but and she would wake me up and at 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea. And I'm like, what are you doing? I got 2 more hours before I have to get up and go to. It was she's so fastidious and so prepared and such a perfectionist, and she makes everybody that she works with look better than they are. So yeah, I would pick Jennifer.
If I can't ask it, tell me. If you could be any Marvel superhero besides Vision, who would you be?
Again, I can't really talk about Marvel because it's so adjacent to. It's in the village of the studio that I'm working for, and we're in the middle of a massive negotiation. So I can't, but I would love to answer a question for you. Some other question.
Obviously, I like Star Wars too. So my question for you is actually about Star Wars. Did I ask a Star Wars question? Nothing specific. Okay. So when you were, this is my question. Did you always want to be in a Star Wars movie? Were you vying for a role in Star Wars, or did they select you to be in, like, for example, Solo?
We can't answer that.
I can't answer that.
All right, here we are, end of the day on Saturday. Yeah, so we saw Stephen Amell, we saw Jim Lee, and we saw Paul Bettany. I got my X-Men #1 signed by Jim Lee, and I'm excited about that. It's awesome. It's already signed by Chris Claremont, so that'll be really cool. Just bragging rights right now. Bragging rights. It's important. What do you think, Aisling?
I mean, overall, I thought it had like its high points and its not so great points. In general, I wouldn't say that I had like a bad time or anything, though, It's just that there were things that happened, and then there were other things that happened,
Yeah, no, overall, I would say the convention was good. I mean, obviously, like, Paul Bettany was very limited. I thought it was kind of wild.
Did his best.
Yeah, he got like
And I
4
appreciate
MCU questions in a row, and he was just like, I can't answer that. I could tell, it's a struggle, because these people are fans, and they want to talk about this stuff, and it's like, I can't talk about it. There's a strike. But, Jim Lee was able to talk about a lot of stuff. I wish I was able to get photos of the Joker he drew during the panel, because that was a cool-looking Joker, didn't you think?
It was a very nice-looking Joker. I liked it a lot.
He just drew while he was answering questions, which was very cool. That was a cool panel. And, we got to talk to him briefly about movie adaptations.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yes.
You did not. I did.
Well, I got my comic book signed. I was excited, and you had a question, so I was like, "Yeah, you do your question. I'll get my comic book signed." Yeah, it was exciting. And you got, we also got the John Delancey signature. That was fun.
That was nice.
His panel is tomorrow, so that'll be fun to check out. Much shorter day tomorrow. It'll be nice to go home. Should we talk a little bit about Stephen Amell?
We can. We
Yeah.
can talk about him. It's okay. My one concern is that, somebody comes across and he's like, I'm a fan of Stephen Amell.
Dude, you don't know the number of hate comments I get. It's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, if he had just talked about Arrow stuff, and there was even questions that he turned down because of the strike, but then he also talked about new stuff, and it's like, don't do that. Just don't.
Yeah.
It's not helpful.
It's it felt like he well, number one, he said out loud he was doing as much to slink around the rules as possible. And then on the other end, it's just also seemed like he hadn't even really reviewed what the rules were, you know?
Mhm.
And it just wasn't good.
It
was not good.
I can't answer a random question about Arrow, but I have a new project coming out on Netflix after the strike, and then, I'm doing Heels right now. It's all that's much worse than talking about Arrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those things, if fans are coming to you and they just want to talk about past stuff, I think that's not a big deal. It's up to you how you want to regulate that. But if you really shouldn't be talking about new stuff, in my opinion, at all.
Yeah.
It's not good taste.
It's not good.
And I don't want to be like a jerk, because there was some stuff he was saying where it's okay, that's kind of entertaining. He talked about how people would talk about David Ramsey, would David Ramsey beat you up? And it's no! Have you seen him? He would destroy me in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
There's little stuff like that. And he talked about nutrition, which I thought was nice, because I know he's big into nutrition, and I think that stuff's nice, but it's he's not answering some questions because of the strike, but then he's literally talking about new stuff coming out, which is definitely not allowed. Yeah. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But Paul Bettany, Brent Spiner, followed rules.
Yeah, it was I normally try to ask a question to people there, but it was I didn't even know what to ask about, because it felt like he was just mostly talking about TV shows and stuff, and it's I don't really want to help you out on this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to aid you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I don't want to encourage you to break strike rules, even though you're already doing it. But yeah. That's our thoughts on Saturday. Tomorrow we got Vincent D'Onofrio and John Delancey.
Yeah.
The guy we got the signature of today. So we met him briefly already today. But yeah, we'll go to his panel tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. So that's it for today.
Yes.
Party on. Be excellent to each other. That works. All right. Day 3, Cincinnati Comic Expo 2023. So this is the last day. It's quieter today. You may not be able to tell because there's still lots of people floating around, but it is the last day. We got Vincent D'Onofrio and John Delancey to see today. Anything you're thinking of, Ashley?
No, I hope it's a good day.
Yeah,
I hope
you might notice I'm holding the camera. This is Skeleton Crew today, just the two of us.
We're slightly understaffed.
Yes. It's
okay.
The end of a convention. Saturday's exhausting, and I'm still kind of worn out. But I was let's go ahead and do it. We've gone this far. We'll do one more day, and so we're doing one more day. It'll probably be an earlier day too. I think this convention is pretty much shut down at 4 today.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we'll probably be home by 3:30 easy. Ooh. It's 11:30 right now, so it's not going to be very late. We'll see. But yeah.
I'm hoping I don't find out about any more people scabbing.
Yeah.
But I'm confident.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay today.
I believe in
Yeah. Well, everybody's been very good about it,
Yes.
except for one. So
Yes.
I think we're fine. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Yes.
I just want to jump in and see, like, what got you to pursue an acting career? What got you into it?
Well, when I was very young, when I was 13, I took up magic. I used to do magic.
Okay.
Yeah. And because this couple came from Cuba, and they opened a magic shop about 2 blocks from my house, which is, I come from a very low middle class family and background in Florida, in a small town called Hialeah, Florida. And it was strange to have this couple come and open this magic shop, and I didn't know anything about that. So I actually happened to be riding by on my my Stingray bike, the banana seat and the forks and the Easy Rider handlebars.
I know quite the time.
Yeah. And this couple was unloading a truck and moving boxes into this shop, and I saw kind of weird pictures of like illusions and like flowers, and I was like, "Where are you guys from? Like, what are you doing?" I was 13, and they said, "We're moving here from Cuba, and we're opening up a magic shop." And so I started to help them with their boxes and stuff like that, and it started to get kind of late, and I rode my bike home and asked my mom if I could continue helping them move in. I told them, and she gave me a lift back and met them, and then the couple kind of took me under the wing, and I didn't have any money to buy tricks, but they used to give me the instructions so I could go home and build them myself. And so I started doing little magic shows and stuff, and I realized that I didn't have like butterflies or anything. I felt very comfortable on stage, and then when you get to be like 15 or 16 and getting into girls and stuff, magic isn't that cool, so I kind of dropped that. And then I just kind of finished school and couldn't afford to go to college, so me and my best friend, another Cuban kid named Elio Medina, we crossed the country, hitchhiked across country into San Francisco from Florida, and learned a lot about life on that way. And then by the time I got there, my sister, who always took drama in school, she told me she was heading to New York to take acting lessons. And I was born in Brooklyn, but raised in Florida. And I had spent every summer of my life at my grandfather's house when I was a kid. And so New York wasn't that mysterious to me, so I kind of got back to New York somehow. And started studying acting with my sister, and then I ended up on Broadway, and then 6 years later, I studied for about 6 years, and then did plays and Broadway, and then I ended up in Full Metal Jacket. That was my first one. So there you go, that's the whole story. Nothing else to say. I'll be going. Alice, where have you been?
Underground. So, I don't know if this is kind of an odd question, but I do mean it very seriously. So earlier when you were talking about your role in Men in Black, you mentioned that you watched bug documentaries to help you prepare for your role. Have there been any other times when you have taken inspiration from nature to help yourself fill out and understand the character?
Yes, actually. One of the things that you learn early in acting school is animal exercises, which mean you have to like run around the room and pretend you're an animal. And I always hated those. I hated them. I did not want to do them. I thought they were stupid and didn't want to participate whatsoever, but I did.
And every year of study, they would always bring them up again, and I'd be like, I want to do that. I want to play the 8. I don't want to do it. But I would do them. And then later on, years later, when I was a working actor, every once in a while, I'm like, I should be in that. And so the last time I did it, I was in a film called The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And in the first shot of my character, I didn't know that they were going to make it in slow motion, but it didn't matter. But I thought the introduction of this guy, I thought the best way to play him, I knew that I was going to have to cross from the gate all the way down the pool, walk along this long pool, and then walk into the scene and greet these other people in the scene. Meet Jessica and Andrew's characters. And so I walked around like a rooster for a couple of nights in my apartment, in my actually hotel room. And sure enough, like on the day, on the first take, they slow it down, and I'm actually going like this as I'm walking. And it's so amazing because you get the character. Every Q&A that I've been out at since we did the movie, after they watched the movie, they all say, "I love your entrance. I love your entrance. I love your entrance," and they don't know why, but that's why, because I used an animal.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've had so much fun on sets. You know, like I've been so fortunate. You know, there's a lot of jerks in the business that I'm in. Actors, producers, writers, directors, a lot of jerks. And then there's not. There's a lot of great people. And I've been really fortunate to work with some of the most solid human beings I'll ever meet. You know, since it's at the top of my mind right now, the group that comes from that show that was on that other streaming thing that we did, like that whole group, there were a few shows that will remain nameless, but the leads in all those shows are incredible people. Like the men are incredible dads and husbands, and the women are incredible moms, and people, they're just fully rounded people. And when we're all together, which occasionally we're able to be at these fan expos and we meet all the guys, we have the best time because none of us are fuckwits. Like we're all fully grown up. We're grown up people that are civil and believe in having positive lives and doing good things for people. And we're not out to they seem to me to be in it for all the right reasons, and I'm very fortunate. And anytime any of us are on a set together and we're acting together, it's just like the best time you could possibly have. Even if the work is really hard and you're working a 15-hour day or 16-hour day, and everybody's tired and the crew's been working their butts off, we're still just you walk onto set with these people and you're so happy to be there. There's just no ego. There's nothing to be embarrassed about because of their behavior or anything. It's just like all like. And so I would say these particular nameless shows, these nameless actors, and these nameless characters, written nameless thing to do.
Try to work like that. The strike that is going on right now is really a necessary strike. The attempts or the result of the work situation for the general actor is that they are taking a craft and turning it into a hobby. It's a hobby. We cannot live with the amount of money that we make. And here's to give you an idea. This strike is not about whether Tom Cruise is going to make more money. This strike, there are 140, just for SAG, I'm just talking about SAG. Just for SAG, there are 140,000 actors who are in SAG. It takes $26,000 a year that you have to make to be able to be eligible for health care. For your own health care, you have to have made $26,000 in the previous year. 87% of the actors do not make $26,000 a year. Okay? The fact that there are no more residuals with streaming, like I was telling you up in Seattle, I was getting residuals. Residuals meaning you do the show once and you're paid for it. But then when you go out on stage, that's Tuesday night. You have 8 services. That's Thursday night. On Wednesday night, when you go out and you do the show again, this is a live performance, you're paid for it. But the way in which they've organized it now is that residuals are gone. So they can play it a second, third, fourth, 10, 15, 100 times, and you're not paid for it. And so our business is getting more and more difficult. One of the things, I'm 75 years old. One of the things in which those of us, and many of us who are in my age, have said, across the board, thank God I'm not 40 years old with 2 kids in school and a mortgage. Oh my God. I don't know, it's one thing to live a life as an actor where you have no safety net, and that you completely flip the way in which, when I used to teach actors and I used to teach them about finances, I would say, this is the most important thing I can say to you. Do not spend money when you are making it. Do not spend money when you are making it. That money is there to get you through the dry periods so that you can act again. Think of it as an ice flow. There are times that the iceberg is close enough so that you can hop onto the next one, the next job. But there are other times when those flows are not together. They're a long ways off, and that is cold, dark water. And that's where people end up. That's where the attrition takes place. So with all of that, the loss of healthcare, the loss of residuals for the repaying of what you do and stuff like that has rendered our business more and more difficult. As the digital world rendered the music business almost non-existent. The music business that some of you are kind of close to my age. The rock and roll guys of the 60s and 70s and 80s, that doesn't work anymore. That whole model doesn't work anymore. So it's a difficult time.
Hey, so we're signing out. We saw Vincent D'Onofrio and John Delancey. I thought they were both excellent. We got some footage of Vincent D'Onofrio, which was very cool.
Yes.
So that'll be in the video. You might have already seen it. Who knows? Who knows how I'll edit this? We don't even know. It's in the future. What do you think overall, Ashleen?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, considering
Nice.
the strike and everything, I thought it turned out pretty well. John Delancey, I thought, did a fantastic speech about the strike.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get good quality footage of it. We'll see what comes up, but I thought he said some fantastic stuff about the strike. He said some facts that, some of the facts he said I knew, but then he was able to go deeper into it, and it was really based. It was really, might be the most based moment of the whole convention for me. I thought it was fantastic. But it's a good convention. Sunday, calling it a day early because we're winding down. But good times. Good times. Anything you want to add?
I second that.
Well, I first that.
I can't argue with that.
Boom. Have a good one.
books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.